Alright, we are back on gaming, and before I get started, I just want to let you guys and girls know right now, I can't see. That's right. Right now, everything is a blur. It's been like this all day. I've never had this problem before. I got up and everything was blurry, and, you know, I went to work and everything, and I can't see. Like, I cannot see right in front of me. Like, where my hand is, I can't see that. Everything is a blur. So, if you see me do like this and everything and looking around, I can't see anything. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sure things will get better. I'm sure. But right now, I can't see anything. But I was looking forward to doing this video. So please bear with me. You know, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to read off links and talk about certain things because I can't see. I can't. So when you see me rub my eyes and things of that nature, I just can't. So let's get started, okay? Just please bear with me with the difficulty of reading today. You just saw me trying to fix this camera. I don't even know if I'm on a slant. I can't tell. I cannot see. All right, let's get started. I hope that everyone had a happy holidays, and I know the holidays are still going. I do want to talk about the Sony and Microsoft DDoS first. That's right. As we know, they were DDoSed, and gamers could not... Oh my God. Gamers could not get online to play their games. Now, last week we talked about how... they said that other hackers had saved the day from Lizard Squad and things of that nature, and apparently they didn't. So Yahoo, you're on the clock on that one because you're the one who put up the link, and I put the link in the info bar from last week to let you know that this is what Yahoo had said, and it stopped Lizard Squad. Obviously, it did not stop Lizard Squad. Okay. Now we're going to talk about this a little bit more because Lizard Squad finally came out. One of their members came out and said that they did this because they wanted kids to stay offline and, God forbid, you spend time with their families. And I understand why they would feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, they want, you want people to spend time with their families. Don't, stand in front of a screen. Yeah, a screen, and spend all your time there. However, you have to also understand that those kids that opened up their PlayStations and their Xboxes, and they were looking to playing online because that was their present, you took that away from them. You have to understand that. Yeah, they can still spend time with their family as long as they're family. You have to understand, you can still play your games online as long as you moderate things. So it's not like every kid was just going to rip open their package, and rip open their Xbox, the box for it, or their PlayStation and say, I'm going to play online all day. You can't make broad statements like that and think that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? There are good parents out there who say, hey, look, you can play for an hour or two, then you got to spend time with the family. Because for those who know, back in the day, there was one of those things where it was like, okay, you can play for a little bit, play your games for a little bit, but then we have to go to this house, or your grandmother's house, grandfather's house, or whatever, and then you got to open up presents there, and then, you're constantly on the move. People still do that. So it's not like every present is just under the tree for these kids and say, hey, this is your presents, and that's it. No, Christmas, if you've ever driven on Christmas, on a highway or anything, very busy. Very busy. People try to get in before that so that, you don't have to worry about that travel. But people are still traveling left and right because they have to go from house to house to house, and go visit people and have dinner and breakfast. Some people do have Christmas breakfast, Christmas lunch, brunch, dinner. You go from different places. Some people don't believe in Christmas and they go to the movies and things of that nature. So for them to shut down, PSN and Xbox Live for that little bit, it didn't affect me personally. But I can see how it would affect others. However, this should tell you, this is a really good example. Because a lot of you people say, this is only a DDoS. Which means all it took was a bunch of script kiddies to knock down PSN and Xbox Live. And these are supposed to be multi-million, billion-dollar companies. They're supposed to have your best interest. And that is the best example of this. Because gamers, you have to understand, you are paying monthly for PS4, PSN Online. You were paying monthly for Xbox Online. You have to understand that with all you're paying, the companies aren't doing enough. Now, granted, every network can be breached. But when you have these big companies who want to keep you in front of the screen, who want you to stay on their networks, we've talked about this before, how, they took away arcades because they want you solely to rely on their networks and solely on online gaming. This should show you that online gaming shouldn't be the end-all, be-all. Should we talk about the always online games that are still around? Can you imagine not being able to get online to play your single-player game? Can you imagine that? I'm just saying these are things that need to be taken care of. Now, this should send a strong shot to Sony. It should send a strong shot to Microsoft. I understand in a couple days it went back up. Some people are still having problems with this. But you have to understand you are too reliant online play. You just are. The companies are. And they're not doing enough to keep you protected. That's right. Or to keep the services up that you're paying for. That is a problem. We saw this in 2011 with the PSN. We've seen this year after year, you know, because people, remember, we saw people say, ha ha ha, PSN, Xbox Live can never be hacked, and then we saw it hacked. Did we not? So as far as I'm concerned, whether you're paying for, you know, a service or not, you're still vulnerable. And that's a problem. So I will put it like this. Sony, Microsoft, you need to get it together. And this time, you can't sit here and say, oh, we'll just give you a game or a couple games, and that will be our sorry. No. This is a clear example, gamers, of what needs to be done. It is time that only online is an option. Only an option. Give us back our single-player games so that we can enjoy them. And that's what this comes down to today. Now, within all of this, we have seen a number of problems with Sony, you know, trying to fix these issues, and Microsoft trying to fix these issues. And even on Twitter, we saw parody accounts like Kazurai sit here and say, you know, hey, for our 20th anniversary, we're going to send you back to the Stone Ages for the PS1 era. And even though that's a pretty funny tweet, you have to understand that the truth is said in jest. And you have to understand also that back in the day, in PS1 days, we didn't have these problems. We played our games and we loved them. You didn't have to worry about updates or day one patches and online play and all that type of stuff. No, you had your friends around, you went to their houses, and you played games, you swapped discs, you did all these type of things, and no one complained. Nobody. It was just fun. If a company decided, you know, that they couldn't, you know, make a good game, guess what? That was on them. They heard the complaints and they were like, whoa, yeah, there's a problem here. Whether it be, you know, the dawning the spawn of online, so you can start emailing places, or you wrote to magazines and was like, look, I have a problem with this game, and these are the problems I have with it, and then they would address it. Nowadays, as we know, it's easier to get towards those people. It's easier to contact those people. So for I see it, it's better to have online connections, social media, if you use it for the right things. But you have to understand that these companies now, they hear it so much that they're just like, we don't want to hear it anymore. You're just, you know, you're mad, you're jealous, you're salty, you're whining. They'll call you everything, even though there is a legit problem with their services or their games. And they need to own up to that. Gamers, this is a great example right now of when you should step up and say, hey, look, we're not going to do this anymore. You can't hold us hostage online. Now, some of you had said in the comments last week about how, you know, what about LAN play? If you haven't realized, they've been trying to take LAN play away from us for at least the last, 2-3 years? They've been trying to take it away. You know, we used to have LAN parties all the time, and it seems like those days they're trying to put over. We still have them. I mean, there's a lot of gamers who still do them. You can see that, you know, when they record and stream on Twitch or wherever you stream, you can still see those LAN parties. You can still see them in the competition. That's LAN play. But you have to understand that most companies try to take that away from you because they want you to stay on their networks. And that's the sad part. And speaking of networking, I want to talk about this right now. Admin hackers released 13,000 accounts and passwords on PSN, Xbox Live, and Amazon. Now, look, there's some people saying that this is an old article, even though this article just came out. They're saying that the information for that is old from back in the day, 2011, I believe, also 2013. But understand that we don't have any concrete proof of this just yet. So, as a precaution, I would say to you gamers, please change your passwords. Just to be safe, change your passwords, alright? I also want to move on. I want to talk about Halo Anthology. Makers apologize and will give distressed fans free ODST. Now, I want to explain it. We just talked about this not too long ago, about giving free games as a sorry, or free soundtracks as a sorry, or whatever giving free as a sorry. You are late to the game. Alright? And I say that due to the fact that you cannot keep doing this. Gamers, understand, you cannot keep taking free stuff. And for those who don't know, I want to do a small update real quick. Alright? With Assassin's Creed, when I did that video and it said, you know, they were trying to give you a free game for Unity being messed up, we found out that later that this is a lawsuit. That's right. What they're doing is they're trying to give you a free game. And so, but if you take that free game, they're going to say that you can't sue them for, you know, Unity being bad. That's right. So it just goes to show you, this is what's going on right now. So Ubisoft had some type of hook with it where it's like, yeah, you get your free game, but you're signing your rights away that you can't sue us because the game is bad. Now understand, that's still not going to, it's not going to fly in court anyway. But also, like I said, you have to understand the tactics and things that these companies do. We've seen this before with the PSN when they did that and say, hey, if you take these games, you're signing away your waiver to have your class action lawsuit. You can't do that, and it didn't really stick. So you have to understand that this Halo anthology that you're seeing right now, I'm going to put the link in the info bar, that they're giving you fans a free ODST. No, that's not enough. If you mess up, especially since you've been plugging this over and over, and you've messed up, you really have to do something about it. If you messed up, own up to it. It's not about just, we'll just give you free stuff just to shut you up. That's not enough. These companies have to take responsibility, and it's not just the developers. It's not. You have to understand. Publishers give them a time frame, and the developers say, all right, we have to make this time frame within such and such. And we've seen it before. I've done videos on this before. We've seen publishers who have said, and CEOs who have said, yeah, we know that we've released game-breaking bugs. We'll just fix it later. We have to get it out because of the time frame that we have, our schedule. We have no choice. That is the problem today. You have to let these companies, these developers, flesh out the problems and do what they need to do, especially, these developers, so they know what's going on. So that us consumers can have a quality product. And it seems like that we're not getting that right now. You really need to take a stand on this, gamers, between the networks going down and them trying to just shut you up with free stuff. That's not enough. It's not. This is not about, oh, I'm going to complain so I can get free stuff. No, this is about making a quality product so that I don't have to complain. So that I'm satisfied with your work, so that I'll come back in the future. That's what it's about. And it seems like people have lost their way when it comes with that. But I want to keep going on, alright? Because the Halo anthology failed, right? Check this out. Halo 5, that's right, or Halo, I'm sorry, not Halo 5. Halo Collector's, Halo 5 Collector's Edition. Alright? Halo 5 Collector's Edition has been revealed, and it will cost $250. You've got to be kidding me. So your anthology failed, but yet you're still going to try and charge $250 for the collector's edition, which will be all the stuff that's caught in the limited edition, and there's more. And you've got to be kidding me that you are charging this much for a collector's edition, $250. We've talked about this before, about the classism of gaming. We've seen this in the previous year or so, when Microsoft said, we want the people with the most, expendable cash. We want, who has the most money who can just throw stuff away. And then we saw gamers fight with each other and say, poor people don't deserve to, to play games. It should just be, the middle class that plays games who can afford these games. You have to understand that gaming has never been about classism. Because if it was about classism, you wouldn't have a culture in gaming. Remember, the people who started gaming, they were pushed out by reality, by the social, class. They didn't say, hey, you're antisocial, or you don't fit into our, our schedule, our agenda, our program, so we're going to trash you. And then you went to gaming and figured, hey, you can find people who are just like you and create a community. So if this is about classism in gaming, then you have to understand exactly what's being done here. Please, people, understand that this is something that should never have happened. And yes, Microsoft and of course, other companies are to blame because they want as much money as possible. They've become out of touch with us consumers. Especially us old school guys, you know what I mean? And girls, I should say, as well. We didn't have to put up with this back then. And I understand the new generation is not going to understand that. They didn't have to deal with these type of things, these type of problems. And then when you try to tell them, they say, don't you tell me what to do. Yeah, I get it, all right? We used to be little angsty kids back then, too. We were angry, too, but not to this extent, the things that I see. But you have to understand that this is something that needs to be taken care of. And especially now, now's the best time to do it. And I'll explain that later in the video, probably near the end of the video. Okay? Now, I want to move on. Xbox One designer and Xbox Live founder leaves Microsoft. That's right, and I want to go into this list here of all the people that have left so far, okay? Because this person who was the founder and everything, they left. So this is the list so far who have left Microsoft, okay? As we know, Don Matrick, former chief product officer, he left. We know what happened with him, all right? Mark Whitten, Xbox Live Entertainment Studios executive, left. Nancy Tellum and Jordan Levin, and of course they did Xbox, and the Xbox One TV designer Ben Smith. So Microsoft is in some serious trouble right now when it comes to all their people leaving. As we know, I'm not saying, oh, the Xbox is dead, the PlayStation is taking over, it won the war. We're not talking about all that, because like I said, I don't get into that fanboy stuff, okay? But also understand, when Microsoft lets these people go, there are going to be people who replace them. However, Microsoft fans, you should be a little worried of the quality control that's going on over there, especially with your games, because a lot of people, when they were banking on Sunset Overdrive, you have so many people saying the game sucked. They don't have that many exclusives, and we're seeing a problem with that. But you also have to look at the PlayStation, the PlayStation side, and I'll put it like this, okay? PlayStation doesn't have that many exclusives. They have more than Microsoft, but also understand that we're not seeing that, that wow factor that says, hey, I'm going to get this system. We haven't seen it yet. Some people have already adapted, and they've already, they upgraded, their systems because they want to upgrade. They felt it was enough. Like I said, for me personally still, I don't see where it's enough yet. I don't see it. So for me, I'm going to stick with what I got. You know what I mean? Now, I do want to move on, and I do want to talk about older systems, and I don't even want to call it older system. Scientists are using the PS3 to study black holes. That's right. So it goes to show you, the PS3 still has so much advancement technology-wise, we didn't need a PS4. As we know, they're studying black holes, but we also saw gamers come together and try to do the AIDS enzyme thing. When was it? When it was on the PS3. They took that away. I mean, I don't understand how you would take something so important away from gamers. We saw that, a year or so ago? They took that away, and it seems like it flew under the radar. And that was folding at home? That was really sad to see that go down, because it was for a great cause. And it seems like, it just seems like that it just fell apart. Sony, I understand that you want to work on, more entertainment and you want more money and things, but things like that can help society, that push, dare I say, mankind and help them, fight certain diseases, I wouldn't have taken that away. If anything, that's something you hold in your shield and say, hey, look, this is what we've done. But apparently not. I don't know. However, I want to move on. Check this out, people. A bag of rocks was found in a man's PlayStation purchase for this holiday season. That's right. The guy bought a PlayStation 4, and when he opened up the PlayStation 4, he found out it was just nothing but a bag of rocks in his box. That's right. And when this was reported, you gamers on Twitter sent me this.
Gee, I got a candy bar. Boy, I got 3 cookies. Hey, I got a package of gum. I got a rock.
I kind of feel bad for the guy, because it's like, it's the holiday season. All you want to do is get, what you're looking for, whether it's for him or for someone else. And it's sad to see that people play such cruel jokes on others like that. And, that's not what gaming or society should be about, It shouldn't be about going to get yours at that time, you know what I mean? They always tell you that the holiday season, even though we should be doing this every day as human beings in society, they always tell you, especially during the holiday season, goodwill towards men and be kind to others and things of that nature. And yet we still see these type of things happen. It's kind of sad to see. When I first saw it, I was just like, wow, that's gotta suck. But we've seen these type of things so many times that you kind of get numb to it. And it's sad. You get numb to it because it's like, yep, you see, guys bid on eBay and they get rocks. We've seen it all. We've seen it so many reports of this. And then people say, that guy, that sucks to be him, and it shouldn't just be that. It shouldn't, but I guess this is how people are conditioned now for some reason. I don't know. I do want to move on. I want to talk about Guilty Gear. In the comments, last week, quite a spirited debate about DLC when we talked about it, and some of you had confirmed that certain things were going down in that Guilty Gear, and then over the weekend, one of you on Twitter sent me this. This is Guilty Gear. Leo Whitefang is now available for download for $7.99. And the message that you sent me with it said, this is exactly why I'm not getting Guilty Gear. This is the message you sent me. And it's kind of sad that we see that. It really is. Because you should know by now that, like I said, this is something that needs to be taken care of. Ever since last week, I've been watching a lot of Guilty Gear streams, whether it's on Preon stream or Rockaway Carter stream. I haven't been signed in, but I have been watching. So guys, yes, I have been watching, okay? For hours at a time. I've been watching, while I'm doing work around the house or I'm doing something else, I will still be watching. So the game looks great. It looks amazing. I've seen these two go at it. It just goes to show you that they really did a great job with the Unreal Engine and what you can do with dare I say, 2D fighters. It's an amazing thing to see, you know, the level of animation that they put into every frame. And it's a great game. I can't take away from it. It's amazing. And to be quite honest, after watching these guys play as Faust, it's even funnier. But still, still great. It's sad to see that they're still going this route with the DLC. If I do get this game, I will wait for a complete edition. There is no reason why you should have dislocked content or, you know, DLC coming down the line via patch, or they're just going to slowly trickle it down to you. Each character for $7.99. That is ridiculous. I can only imagine how much it's going to cost over in different regions. That's just disgusting for me. It really pisses me off to see something like that. Skullgirls Encore Endless Beta gains super jumps inspired by Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So, for those who's Encore, you know it's coming out for the PS4. I don't know if it's coming to the PS1. I mean, PS1. Yeah, it's not coming to the PS1. I mean, the Xbox One. But I have no idea if it's coming to Xbox One, but apparently they're going to have super jumps in this game. If they do have super jumps in this game that's inspired by Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I would expect a Skullgirls, the version on PS3 that I have, I would expect a patch. Pronto. Seriously, because how are you supposed to keep up, especially in tournament play, if you don't have the same stuff? Don't tell me they're going to get a specific version. Like I said, I got Skullgirls, but I haven't really played with it too much. So if anyone is going to come in here and tell me, you know, well, they do already have super jumps in the PS3 version, my mistake. Please, by all means, if someone can let me know and confirm this type of thing. Like I said, I've had very limited time with Skullgirls, but I did get it. So, like I said, there's so many games that I got, as you saw just not too long ago, just yesterday? I got Bayonetta 2, I got Deus Ex, and I got, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. So, there's so many games that I get. Also, I downloaded Suikoden 2. So, on the PSN, I really don't do much digital stuff, but you have to understand that certain games, because they cost so much, I'm not, like I said, Suikoden 2, it costs so much, physical disc. No, not happening. Not happening. You know what I mean? So, but for those I had talked about on the fan page, some people said that they didn't know about Suikoden. I will talk about that later because there's a report for that. Also, some things that are coming out in the future. I will talk about that later. I do want to stick more with the fighting game community, and I shouldn't have broke up so much on that and go on that rant. But remember not too long ago with the fighting game community. Remember the video I did where I said not too long ago where, you know, if you're going to be in competition, you know, you should have to wear warm-ups and things of that nature. And the fighting game community really fought me tooth and nail and was like, you shouldn't try to conform us. We should be able to wear what we want. And then we saw even at SRK, we saw at Evo, guys wearing really, you know, offensive shirts and things of that nature. And it just wasn't professional, especially if you want to be professional. And I say this because if you haven't seen as of late, what I mean about wearing warm-ups and track jackets and things that have sponsors on it, that's the way to go about it. And for those who have not seen, all right, over at Dota, Team Newbie is showing exactly what I was talking about when you wear track jackets. Not only that, but Team DK also shows that you can have sponsored track jackets as well when you're playing your games. I know you're going to say, but Event, you also said that, you know, these players should wear suits going to and from the tournaments because it will make them look more professional, and we're not for that. Oh, you mean like how Team Newbie does, where they go to and from tournaments and also in their photo shoots? As you can see, players overseas, companies overseas, sponsors overseas, they take it to a completely different level. And if we're going to do this, especially you FGC guys, if you want to be professional, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to play the games that these corporations play, and as a gamer, you beat them at it. That's what you have to do. Seriously, like I said, when you see NFL or NBA players, and they're going to their games, what are they wearing? Suits, right? If you want to be known as professionals, you've got to act it the same way. And it's not just your behavior, it's also the way you look. If you want these people, the masses, I'm saying, the masses, if you want them to respect what you do on a larger level, you have to show that you can do it. That's what you have to do. And it seems like people don't want to do that. Like I said, I asked you before, is this just an excuse just to act immature? And I didn't get an answer to that. When I said in the other video, never got an answer to that. Seriously, if you want to be professional and you want this e-sport, you have to work for it. You have to change it for the better. But every time I say that, we got people who want to fight me tooth and nail, and I don't understand. And it's not even just fighting me tooth and nail saying I disagree. It's not even just about that. No, you gotta come in and call me a bunch of damn names because I'm giving suggestions, and obviously now that I'm saying it, they've already done this overseas. They've already done it. These guys that you're seeing, Team Newbie and DK, these guys make damn near millions of dollars playing Dota. Teams. If you want to be on that level, then it's time that you start acting appropriately. But every time I say that, I just get shit for it, and I don't understand. If you care about this community, especially the FGC, if you care about the FGC, wouldn't you want to see it get better? Wouldn't you want to see it, go in a nice suit to look like a respectable person and say, look, I'm all about business? Because that's what this is. It's business for these players. Why do you think they have money matches and things? And even though I don't agree with money matches, why do you think they have it? That's all it is. But it seems like for some reason when I say this, let's say go there and play in a suit. No, go to the games in a suit, then get changed into your uniform. Get it in. I don't have a problem with that, but it seems like people, they don't understand. It seems like they're not ready for that concept. Like I said, take a page out of sports, take it and run with it, and show that you can do it. Other places have done it. Photo shoots and carrying on, you gotta be kidding me, man. Wouldn't you want that as a gamer? This is something I thought I'd never see happen. And yet, gamers want to hold themselves back here. Everyone else is evolving but us in the FGC when it comes to outside our region, man. It's kind of sad. It is. Because you thought, like I said, I said before, I never thought that I'd see games played in the actual stadium. And we've seen that. Now it's time to take it to a new level. And it seems like, like I said, you can always practice, you can always get it in, and play games. You don't need your drama. You don't need all that type of stuff. Like I said, the game speaks for itself. Your gameplay speaks for itself. But every time I say that, I don't know. So it's always someone who doesn't like what I'm saying when it comes to that. It's like I said, they don't want to evolve. But speaking of games, more games, and like I said, we just talked about not too long ago about how Skullgirls is taken from Marvel's Capcom 2. Capcom will announce a major game in January and has many in development for 2016. I don't care. Capcom, you've kind of ruined things when you announced Street Fighter V. You kind of did. Because it was just like, it was uncalled for. Seriously, if you're going to bank on the FGC, because that's what's keeping you, let's be honest here, alright? Capcom is Street Fighter, Resident Evil. That's what it is. Right? That's what we've had for the previous couple of years. Street Fighter, Resident Evil. That's all you've banked on. And even though I still enjoy Revelations, even though it's kind of cheesy. Oh, man, I really can't see. Even though it's kind of cheesy, it's just one of those things where you still enjoy the game for what it is. You know what I mean? Capcom, you have way too many games just way too many in your catalog to just limit yourself like this. You just do. It's sad to see what Capcom has become. It is. You're going to have to prove the gamers at this point, Capcom. And I'm not talking about fanboys, because fanboys are going to eat up whatever the hell you throw out. It doesn't matter if it's trash or not, alright? You need to prove to your fans that have been trusting you since the damn 90s. That's right, the 80s, I'd say. Early or late 80s, I'll say. Alright? That you can still do this. That you still care. Right now, we have not seen that in the previous, I'll say, 5 years. We have not seen that, Capcom. So as far as I'm concerned, you have a lot to prove coming into 2015, and as you said, you have many in development for 2016. It's time to put up or shut up. You don't even need to have these announcements at this point. The fact that you didn't even make Devil May Cry 5 tells me enough. The fact that you didn't let Street Fighter take a rest tells me enough. The fact that you didn't even, give Resident Evil a rest tells me enough. You have too many games in your catalog. Too many gamers want these games, and you're just ignoring them. It is sad. I want to move on about Resident Evil, because Resident Evil HD for the PS3 is coming, and this is what I mean, people, alright? The PS4 supports cross-buy when it comes to Resident Evil HD, but only if you pre-order it. That's what I'm talking about. So is this going to be the new thing now? Where you can get cross-buy if you pre-order. Is that going to be a new thing? Because, we went, for those who remember, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, it was, you got soundtracks, you got posters, you got all these little nice things when you pre-ordered games. Now it's, you get DLC, you get this character or this weapon, taking pieces of your game away for DLC. As a pre-order, you get this map or you get this special item. Now it's, you get cross-buy if you pre-order. Do you see the pattern going here? Slowly but surely, they are taking things away from you that you should already have in your game that's completed. And that's sad. Cross-buy should not be a bargaining chip for a pre-order. That should just be automatic. You have to do right by your fans. But, whatever. Right? I'm just crazy, right? Also, I want to talk about this a little bit more. When it comes to tournaments, okay? For those who don't know, Operation Supply Drop, which is for the troops, has been named the official and exclusive charity at future UMG gaming events. Now, while it's a noble cause, to say that it's an exclusive charity, that takes away from all the other charities that are doing this. You understand, right? If I wanted to do a charity for what I've read so far, I don't know if the article's been updated, but if I wanted to do a charity, gameplay or stream or whatever for Operation Supply Drop, you're going to tell me they wouldn't take the money? Because it's exclusive now to UMG? That is wrong. Absolutely wrong. So as far as I'm concerned, I can see the gift in all that, and I can also see the curse in it. It shouldn't be exclusive to anyone, because there are people out there who still care enough, especially for the troops, that want to do this. Now, we've seen this time and time again, especially when other streams have done this Operation Supply Drop. We've seen other YouTubers do it as well, and they would either get hacked, or the stream would get hacked, and it would get shut down, because people didn't want anything for the troops. We saw that. But to say that it's exclusive to a specific group for their gaming events, that's wrong. I'm sorry, but if I want to do Operation Supply Drop, I really doubt that they would not take the money. That's wrong. I feel that's just wrong. That seems more of a personal matter that would benefit them than it does the troops. That's how I see it personally. Okay, but I do want to talk about Nintendo. I do, because for those who don't know, Nintendo president agrees that there are too many cutscenes in video games nowadays. And you know what? That's probably right. I think that, to an extent, it depends on the game as far as I'm concerned, because as we know, story does drive, these games, narrative does drive these games, but when you're an old school gamer like a lot of us are, us, boys and girls, men and women, whatever you want to call us, they gave us narrative through text. That's all they did. It's like, hey, you got some text, you know what to do, you're going to go save the princess, you're going to go do this, and I'm not even talking about Mario, I'm talking about like Zelda and Metroid and things of that nature. Like, at first with Metroid, you didn't even know what was going on. You just played and was like, what am I doing? What's going on? You really didn't really know. You know what I mean? You ventured and you explored. These days, if you give people that, you don't see that much. We're not going to tell you what to do, just do it. And you know what? The last game we saw that did that for the PC was Minecraft. It didn't give you a story and all this type of stuff. They were just like, yep, go out and do what you're going to do. And you had to figure it out on your own. Now we're finding out that, they're trying to add some story to it now. I believe that Mojang is working with Telltale now to come up with a story for Minecraft so they can add it into their games. So it goes to show you that this is something that you don't really need much narrative. You don't. We played games because it was an entertainment factor, we enjoyed them, and you know what? It was a world that we had never been in. And we explored regardless. And it seems like that they're trying to take that away with a lot of cutscenes. I understand everybody wants to work the Hollywood blockbuster angle. I mean, we see it work effectively. I mean, if you played Uncharted, it was like, wow, this really works. But you don't need a cutscene for everything. Especially, like, just not too much. I said yesterday, I was playing Dynasty Warriors Gundam. And I was ready to get into a battle. And as soon as I dashed to get into the battle, it stopped me. And it went into a cutscene. And it had all this stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. I understand that they're trying to build the hype. But I've already, started my attack. And when I started my attack, it stopped me. Because they had to have a dialogue. And you had to know what character was going against what character. And their backstory. And I'm like, just let me fight. Because I've already started attacking. So it takes away the energy that I was bringing, the flow I was bringing into the battle. So I had to wait. And of course, you get the music and they try to keep you up tempo and they try to keep you interested. But I was already interested. I was already there. So now you're taking me a notch below and now I have to bring it back up. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that was kind of sad to see. Also, I want to talk about Bayonetta. Bayonetta devs are working hard on a new project and you will be getting a new Bayonetta game. So you can thank Nintendo. I don't care, because I see a lot of people saying, oh, well, hopefully it's not, just exclusive to Nintendo. What don't you understand, Bayonetta fans? If it wasn't for Nintendo, you wouldn't have a Bayonetta 2. So if it's exclusive to Nintendo, they have every right to do that. They helped Platinum on this. Sony didn't come to the rescue. Microsoft didn't come to the rescue. Nobody came to Platinum's help except Nintendo. So if it's exclusive to Nintendo, then guess what? Then let's have it then. Because they're the ones that should be thanked. And when we saw that happen, what happened? We saw death threats come out the woodwork. I don't understand that. How do you do that? I understand it's not for the platform of your choice, but that's what they were given. And it seems like people don't want to hear that. It's just sad to see. And like I said I'd talk about it. So I'm going to get into this. New Suikoden. That's right. New Suikoden. Final Fantasy 12. And Xenosaga HD is coming. Also, other exclusives for the PlayStation will be coming in the future. We talked about Xenosaga HD and what was going to happen. I said it needs to happen. I am on board with Xenosaga HD. I'm on board with Suikoden. For those who have not played Suikoden, please play Suikoden 1 for the PS1. For those who don't know about the 100 stars, like I said, it's one of those RPGs where you have to bring your A game every time, because once you're recruiting all these characters and you can fit for your guild, your army, and you get 100 characters. But if one of those characters die, guess what? There's no reviving them. No, that's how tough Suikoden is. Once they die, they're gone. So try finishing the game. Try finishing Suikoden all the way through with 100 characters. I guarantee you, you won't be able to do it due to the fact that you make the wrong choice, even in story, certain people die. It's very interesting. I've been a big Suikoden fan for a very long time. That's why when Suikoden 2 came digital, I was like, I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? So I have Suikoden, for the PS2, PS1. It's one of those things where if we get a new Suikoden, I'm going to be there. You know? It's one of those games that has me. Same thing with like Wild Arms. When Wild Arms 1 and 2 came out, I was like, yep, getting it. You know, and I have those, you know, for the PS1 and the PS2. So it's just, like I said, it's one of those things. That's been a great thing. I want to talk about a game that's coming out not too long, soon I should say, next year, for what I'm hearing, okay? And you know I'm a big horror fan, alright? And as you can see today, I'm wearing my Dawn of the Dead shirt. Big horror fan. And for those who have not seen, and I didn't want to spoil this, but some of them had already tipped some of you guys off, if you've been reading the comments, tipped some of you guys and girls off, about a game that's coming out. It's called Last Year. That's right. A co-op game where you have to try and survive a slasher who looks like Jason Voorhees. Let's look at the Kickstarter video right now.
In Last Year, 5 players play as a group of stereotypical high school characters, like the jock, the popular girl, and the nerd, and must survive against one player that's playing as the killer. The game starts in Silver Lake Summer Camp. Players will experience a thriller that embraces all the horror movie cliches from classic horror films like Friday the 13th and The Cabin in the Woods. As the students, you'll start alone and in complete darkness, with no weapons or resources. You'll need to find your friends and work together if you expect to survive. Each player has a unique ability, like medic or technician, and each one plays a vital part in helping keep the group alive. Playing as the killer is a completely different experience, and you'll have an array of playable killers to choose from. The element of surprise is the main focus of gameplay. As the killer, you have an ability called Predator Mode, which lets you unspawn and turn invisible if you're not within sight of other players. While invisible, you can move extremely fast to new positions while secretly observing your prey. When you're ready, make the kill. The one who dies first is up to you.
I'm pretty excited for this. So far, for what we know, this game is only for the PC. We've seen people in comments on YouTube and their Kickstarter already complaining about how this should be for consoles as well. Baby steps. If the game is successful, I'm sure they will bring it over, okay? But it will be, I believe, via Steam, I believe. We will see what happens. However, I will say that I'm happy to announce that this Kickstarter has been fully funded since December 19th. So this is going to happen, okay? Now, I do want to move on, and I want to end this video on a high note. Now, for those who don't know, we've seen a lot of reports about people who use 3D printers. We've seen them make guns out of it, knives out of it. We've seen a lot of things that, you know, they actually work, and they always talk about the dangers of 3D printers. Well, I am glad to announce that 3D printers can be used for also positive as well. For those who don't know, Derby the dog, that's right, who had no legs, received prosthetics from people who used a 3D printer to help this animal out. Let's check it out.
I came across Derby a little over 3 months ago now, I think. I had adopted a dog through this rescue group called Peace and Paws. He was born with deformed front legs. And I kept looking at his photo and hearing his story, and I cried literally every time. Finally, I messaged her and I was like, okay, I'll do it, I'll foster, I'll take care of him. I had to try and help this dog. We decided to get him a cart, which worked quite well, but they limit his mobility in terms of being able to play with other dogs, and it's not really the full motion of running.
For this project, we're using a variety of 3D technologies, and that allows us to get in there and really modify the organic digital models quickly and easily and start to do the sort of designs that Derek wants us to do.
The great thing about using 3D technology in Derby's case is having these images on file on a computer and being able to print them is a lot quicker than having to hand sculpt every single mold and rebuild these braces 5-10 times.
With prosthetics in general, a lot of the designs are going to this Running Man sort of look. And I was concerned with doing a Running Man that he would end up digging them into the dirt. And so that's really where I came up with the loop idea.
Hey Derb, you got your new legs.
We started them off very low, and so that it wouldn't be too drastic. We have a line called the Project 5500, which enables us to run dual materials. That has really been key with designing his prosthetics.
I got it. I don't become impressed very quickly, but when I saw him sprinting like that, it was amazing. It just, I couldn't believe it.
The first time he was put on them and he took off running, he was just so happy. I was absolutely amazed at how well he did.
He runs with Sherry and myself every day at least 2 to 3 miles. He runs faster than both of us. He never really tires out. He's just so happy to do that.
This is what 3D printing is all about. To be able to help anybody, dog, person, whoever, to have a better life is just, there's no better thing to be involved in.
And that's what you call giving a new lease on life. Like I said, for every technology, for technology to evolve and things that we see, it goes to show you that it's not the technology that's bad. It's putting it in the wrong hands. People who want to abuse this stuff. But if we get good people, honest people, to use this to help, further life and further mankind or dog kind or animal kind or whatever kind, you have to understand that these type of things can help people more than they can hurt. So for every report that you see that something is negative, you really have to be objective and say, what are the positives in this? Now, I'm done with this right now. Like I said, it was hard for me, so you have to understand, things have gotten a little worse now. It's not just my one eye now, it's actually shifting the other eye. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I can't really see. But I just want to say this to end this video, alright? It's coming up on the new year. I wish everyone a happy holidays. I hope that everyone has a good, happy New Year. I know Chinese New Year will be coming up very soon. Whatever you believe in, go out, party, live your life. But also understand with all these people doing all these reviews, and we see this time and time again, all these reviews, the year in review 2014, and then they give you a bunch of crap. Alright? They just give you a bunch of meaningless garbage. I will put it like this. The year in review for 2014 has been a great one, especially here. And it's all because of you. You understand that? For the previous, I would say, 2-3 years, we have helped so many people through video games, through YouTube. We have helped people, you know, with their, you know, their conditions when it comes to hospital bills. We have helped people when it comes to, you know, having to get surgery. We've helped people and children when it came to the, you know, with Extra Life program. I never thought that this year I would go to Florida to compete to help children and meet those children that you helped when I was doing those streams. I never thought I'd do that. You know, I never thought it was even possible. I never thought I'd go to London and meet other gamers that I talked to. You have to understand that 2014 has been a great year. When it comes to Gamergate, you know, I saw not too long ago, a person had added me in a Twitter conversation where they had said, I'm sure some of you, you know, when you were debating about this type of stuff, had said to me that, you know, said to all of us that Gamergate, they've done nothing wrong. They hurt more than they help. And I'll put it like this. Gamergate stood for ethics in journalism. And those sites that we have seen, how many have changed their ethics? We've seen, not too long, we've seen a number of sites change their ethics and update their ethics when it comes to journalism. Meaning, it's working. Meaning, it was for the, dare I say, greater good. So for every time you hear a person say, oh, but there's death threats from Gamergate and whatever, guess what? It also comes from the other side too, but I don't see you jumping on them. The fact is, Gamergate has helped so many. And I believe a number of people have said, I've never seen so many people from different, you know, walks of life, different, you know, cultural backgrounds, stand up for one cause. And it scared the shit out of them. And they started changing things. Now, granted, we still have some type of resistance where people still want to beg for money. We see how people act. They're disgusting. Like I said, just like technology, the internet, it's who you watch or who you interact with. We see a number of people who are ignorant on here. We see a number of people who will judge you and tell you who you are and where you come from and how you're living, even though they don't know you. We see that time and time again. But what they can't take away from you is what you've done here. Because while they spend their time being negative and sitting on sidelines, you were helping people. You were helping people with a new lease on life, see different perspectives, different experiences, have more time with their families. That was because of you. That's what happened in 2014. I don't need to run a list. I don't need to make a video that says, hey, this is the top conference, you know, controversial things. IGN just put one out not too long ago where they were like, these are the things that you were talking about in 2014. They didn't even put Gamergate on there. That actually, the title should have been the most popular things that people talked about in 2013, not, you know, the biggest stories. Because it's ridiculous. These sites try to still, and there are still gamers who are just, they have them pretty much by the gonads. They have them. There's nothing you can do about that. But the fact that so many people are fighting for equality, for fairness, no matter race, no matter gender, it doesn't matter. The fact that you've helped people, you should take some fucking pride in that. Like I said, no matter what anyone says about you, when you've done something like that, they can't knock you down, they can't take it away from you. They can't. I would say this has been a good 2014. I'm looking forward to 2015. I know there's a lot of people already. I'm sure we're going to see it as, you know, these next couple of days, where people are going to say, new year, new me. New year, new me. I'm going to change. And I don't believe in that, because you should know, if you're going to change your situation, you do it now. You don't wait till the new year. Especially if it benefits and helps your life to move forward. You don't do that. But it seems like people still don't understand that. It's a cop-out. And though we know in 2015 coming up, there's a lot of people that won't change. There's people who have admitted that this is who they are. That means there's no room for improvement. It means you should walk away from them because they can't be helped. You stick with people who have your best interests. That's the only advice I can give you. You know, this coming up, the end of this year and coming up next year. Take it day by day. Hell, some of you take it hour by hour. Should I even say some of you should take it minute by minute and think about what you're going to say before you say it? But that would be too much like right, because then you're going to have people get defensive. It's been a great year. It's been a bounce back year for me personally. You know? And I'm looking forward to what we can accomplish next year. It's an amazing feat. And all of this, and a lot of people say, you're just a guy who gets on camera and screams at the camera. I'm also a guy who has helped change lives sitting in front of a camera. A number of people have said how much I've influenced them. A number of people have said, how, I've helped them personally. It is sad that people don't acknowledge those things as opposed to when you piss me off. Yeah, you piss me off, of course you're gonna get that anger, of course. You know? But you're still getting 100%. You're still getting a real person. For some reason, you're not allowed to be angry on here. I will put it like this. Oh, I'm sorry. You're allowed to be angry if you're specific people. I'm sorry. Because favoritism. Yeah, I forgot. But it's been a great thing. And I want to thank you all for staying this long, for all these years. Like I said, I wouldn't have been doing these videos if it wasn't for you requesting these videos. It's great to see. And hopefully, like I said, in 2015, we can do some good things. I have a lot of things, especially gameplay-wise, lined up. Even though this will be the last face cam, I'll say, video for this year, which is kind of weird because I'm going to do one next week. But it's weird to say. But also tomorrow, I will give you another episode of The Walking Dead. I will finish the chapter before I go back to Resident Evil and finish that chapter. So I will be doing that. But hopefully you take this time out to spend time with your families. I understand it's the holidays, but you shouldn't have to have a holiday to spend time with your family and your loved ones and your friends. You shouldn't have to. That should be an automatic thing every day, But some people always say that. I feel sorry for those who don't understand that they can be bigger and better than what they are now. Some people are stuck in a rut. I feel bad for them. You're supposed to keep moving forward. Always. Regardless, good or bad, you move forward, you learn from it, and then you try to correct what you've done wrong. Seems like people don't get that. Anyways. I'm done for a day. Like I said, enjoy your lives, have fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will talk to you very soon, because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'll talk to you then. Y'all be safe. I'm out.